There's this demon, and he's called the accountability devil.
Okay.
He turns up at my door, and he calls you out for the things that you said you were going to do, and you haven't.
Oh, okay. Shit, I hate that.
Do you know this guy? Do you know him?
He's a regular visitor.
Yeah, you've met him before.
Oh, I've met him. His name's Larry.
Harry, the accountability devil.
Yeah. I was brought up in a household where it was normal.
Yeah, it was encouraged.
It was encouraged.
To go. It was a realistic possibility that you could pick up any instrument you wanted and be nurtured in that environment.
Yeah.
To pursue that.
Yeah. Which was a wonderful... Well, now I look back at it and go, damn, that was lucky. I didn't know what C major was. I didn't know what beat was. I was just putting these notes together.
Yeah.
And going, I feel incredible when I do that.
Wow.
And that is like where it was born for me.
Okay. Hey, I'm Aaron of Kong, and I want to talk to you about accountability. Okay, Internet, what's the definition for accountability?
Here's the definition of accountability. The fact or condition of being accountable, responsibility.
Yeah, that's not really the straightforward answer I was looking for. I'm struggling. Here's the thing. By the time I was 30, I thought I would have made £1 million. And it's not like I don't know what I want to do. I've got too many ideas about what I want to do. But ideas aren't going to get me anywhere unless I put them into action. So I thought if I made a podcast about holding myself accountable for these ideas, then maybe I'd be forced to bring them to real life. Like, for instance, this podcast has been an idea of mine for months and months, but I just kept making excuses. I had to buy the kit. I had to have the time. I felt like I had to go away to a cabin in the woods just to make it. But you know what? I've got a living room and I've got a laptop. So this is me holding myself to account. And if you've ever had any ideas about something that you wanted to do, or write a book, write a song, paint a masterpiece, well, I guess you have to start with episode 1. Do you fancy a cup of tea or coffee? Pretty essential before starting on any new project. So I've got my theme, but I'm going to need some chapters. I'm thinking music and creativity, honesty, love, and family relationships. Yeah, heavy shit. It's a podcast, so I'm going to need a little help from my friends. That's my flatmate. He's a sick guitar player. And we created this little character. He's called the accountability devil. And he turns up at our door from time to time.
Hello?
Calling us out for things we said that we would do.
Hello?
He's right on time,
Hello?
so let's get started.
Have you started that podcast yet?
At this point in my life, my main job is as a musician. I play in a band with my best mates. We have the most incredible time gigging and traveling, but, and there's always a but, sometimes I feel left out. You see, I never chose a musical education. Like many of us, I had recorder lessons at school and I learned Frere Jacques on the keyboard. But then, like an idiot, when it got hard, I gave up. And now all my peers seem to speak this language that I don't understand. I would back myself to say that I'm a decent, even good songwriter when it comes to lyrics, but I'm lacking in the melody department. I know if I practice more, I could improve. Yeah, I said it. I said the magic word, practice. Gotta get those 10,000 hours in. My flatmate does it, and that's why he's a dope guitarist. I think it's time that I phoned a friend. Hey, man.
Hey,
Yo, next time we meet up, can I interview you for my podcast about accountability and your creative process?
yes.
Sick. All right. I'll speak to you later.
Bye.
Bye. This is my friend and collaborator Dario Darnell, also known as Youngr. We recorded this interview at Llamaland Studios in Limehouse, London, in autumn 2019. We talk about accountability, music, and creativity in its wider forms. During this chat, listen out for this sound. That's my self-edit asterisk. And if you make it to the end of this podcast episode, I'm going to be deconstructing some of the moments I thought I could have made less shit. Right, so accountability in my head. There's this demon,
Yeah.
and he's called the accountability devil.
Okay.
He turns up at my door, and he bangs on the door, and he comes in, and he calls you out for the things that you said you were going to do and you haven't done yet.
Oh, okay.
So he attacks all the ideas in your brain.
Oh, shit. I hate that.
Do you know this guy? Do you know him?
He's a regular visitor.
Yeah, you've met him before.
Oh, I've met him. His name's Larry.
Harry, the accountability devil.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been during this podcast, trying to work out like what accountability means to me, and he kind of comes in that form. Because I feel like there are so many ideas in life or with creativity. But like you do music, and we're sat here now in your studio, like studio. Why? How did you get here? Like, why music? Big question.
Big question. To be honest, I think it was music because I grew up with it. It's really simple. I don't think I would have turned to it or known it was even a possibility if I didn't see my dad make a career out of it. Because I was thinking about this recently. Music and in fact, the engineer came in to fix all the fire alarms. It's a weird story.
Okay.
But fixing the fire alarms and my whole live setup was done, and he was over the live set and he was looking at it all, and I'm stood there trying to make the dust not go over my fucking laptop and shit.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, music, yeah. Used to play a bit of that in high school. I was like, oh, here we go. And I was like, and then we got into it. I was like, oh no, he actually does love music. He used to play the piano. Yeah. His mum, I think he came from an Indian family, and his parents were saying, oh, you're not going to do music. That's not a realistic career. You're going to go into a career that you're going to make money, and then we can be proud of you. And he said that music, he said, quote unquote, it's like, if I continued to do music, I would have been kicked out of the house.
Right.
And I was like, whoa, that's real. That's his reality.
Yeah.
That happened to him, and he found joy in music in high school, and
yeah,
he wasn't allowed to do it in his household.
Wow.
Obviously, there's other people that do that and continue and don't mind being thrown out. So he mustn't have loved it that much. Yeah. Maybe. Anyway, that wasn't a reality to them because their parents are like, it's not a career choice. I was brought up in a household where it was. Yeah. It was normal.
Yeah, it was encouraged.
It was encouraged
to go. It was a realistic possibility that you could pick up any instrument you wanted and be nurtured in that environment.
Yeah.
To pursue that.
Yeah, which was a wonderful. Well, now I look back at it and go, "Damn, that was lucky." Yeah. Instead of it being a pipe dream and going down that way. But yeah, and the music. I think it was just basically seeing that my dad was super encouraging for me and my bro to go on tour with him. I remember being on the tour bus going around Germany, and I used to sit behind the drummer and just be fascinated. And he was a left-handed drummer, I remember. So I just always remember that and being like, this is the coolest thing.
I want to do this.
I want to be sat in that. And sound check, he'd always let me sit on the throne. But my feet couldn't touch the pedals. So Ash used to do the pedals, and I'd be on the hi-hat and the snare.
Your brother.
My bro, yeah. So it was just a wonderful, it was sick.
That's super interesting to like recognize like that nurturing environment. And it's actually really interesting to talk to you about this in particular because you and your brother were responsible for me making a career from music.
Yeah.
Like you literally were the first two people to put drumsticks in my hand and
wild.
Go hit that. And I'm saying that actually your dad was the first person who took me, or I guess I got a chance to tour the world. You know, like I went to Australia.
That's crazy.
And the States.
I've still not been to Australia.
With your dad.
Yeah.
So the encouragement that you had you've been able to pass it on to a friend. And also I've benefited from like that trust and nurturing environment from your family.
Of course.
So it spreads wider.
Yeah, that's crazy actually.
So when you actually think about, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I feel like sometimes the word accountability comes up as a negative connotation.
Absolutely. It's the first thing I thought, yeah.
Every time I Wikipedia it or I go on the dictionary, it's like,
you said this in your song.
You must be responsible for, or like bringing to account the actions of a certain group or person.
Right.
But I want to think about it in terms of looking at it in terms of creativity and going, okay, this is why I've made these choices. And this is why I want to continue to make things and create things and write things and get better at things.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I love that.
That's dope, man.
I love that.
What kind of
Side note, then I
Go
got
on.
into Simply Red. And that was the game changer.
Simply Red?
Yeah. I heard Fairground
Yeah.
in my green Punto, driving to Stretford Precinct, whatever, my mum. And I was like, what's it? Because he sampled the Goodman, Giving It Up. And it's these big samba drums. And Dad, with the music, plus finding my own music. Because Dad was always like, James Brown and Fela Kuti, listen to this. And then I heard Simply Red. I was like, oh. And then that was my in on this. Music's it.
Yeah.
It was a combination of that, for sure.
Side note.
Yeah.
There has to be a playlist with this podcast now.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Great idea.
And all of those things you just mentioned again.
At the fairground
What a
on
tune.
the way. Yeah.
What expectations do you have of yourself? Whether that's like day to day. Let's go day to day because
Day-to-day.
I think the wider question is too big maybe. But
Yeah.
like when you wake up in the morning, what kind of expectations do you have or put on yourself? And do you talk to yourself in the morning?
Yeah. A big expectation is to remember to eat and stay alive.
Let's not take that for granted.
Yeah, big thing. Yesterday I had porridge at 9 a.m. and then got so caught up with just studio. I didn't eat till 11 p.m. and I don't know how I got through the day.
Yeah.
But anyway, in the mornings, I've tried to get into meditation now. So you start your day real calm and collected. You have all your thoughts collected and then you disperse them throughout the day in a chilled manner instead of getting off on the bad foot.
Nice.
Day to day, I just want to make things I'm proud of. That's my new thing. And also be kind to other people.
Yeah.
That's a big thing now. Like, it's very easy in studio to have your eyes down. You're right, mate. Whatever. But
super isolated, especially in this room as well.
exactly. So, and I lived for like 10 years kind of doing that. And I've started to be like, start conversations with people, talk to people, see what they are doing in the day, see how they're doing. What music are they listening to? Find out where the music is on Spotify. So every time I'm in the kitchen now, try and get someone's Spotify or Instagram because it's interesting because music and collaboration is powerful.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to shut yourself off.
Yeah. So for some context, we're in a room right now.
Yeah.
We're in a very nice, soundproof, dimly lit room with lots of keyboards and screens and beautiful production equipment. But it's a complex where I guess there are probably like 15
studios.
other music-specific studios.
Yeah.
And there's a communal kitchen in the middle where we make our coffees and teas and lunches and things. So.
Yeah, it's very easy to shut yourself off. So I try and force myself to have conversations with people that I probably wouldn't. Or just like in Tesco. Someone looks at you, go, hi man.
Yeah.
Or if someone's got a nice jumper on, nice jumper.
Yeah.
I don't know. I try and do that in my day.
Because you always, if someone does it to you, or if I see someone smiling or singing along in their headphones while cycling their bike, I'm like, yeah, right on.
Isn't it amazing?
That makes me feel happy that person. So it's
it's contagious, man.
Yeah.
Good vibes and happiness is super contagious.
Those are great expectations. You said make something that you're proud of and be good to people.
Yes.
That's dope.
Yeah.
that's it. Do you ever listen back to things? Now, I'm not talking about demos or ideas. I'm talking about releases. Do you ever listen back to releases and go, that's horrible?
Yes, Aaron. Yes, I do. I really, really, really do.
What's your first reaction? Do you
skip first?
Skip track.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it's bit of confusion.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why it's confusing, because half of me goes, I liked that at some point. I couldn't have done it if I didn't like it.
Right.
I couldn't.
It was good then.
It was good when I was writing it or something. But then that's fine. But there needs to be a point where you go, is that me? Is that Youngr? Or is it this? And
Yeah.
it's really confusing. And then there's the second layer of confusing is when you get messages on Instagram or something.
Right.
That's my favorite song, or a show. Can you play this song? Oh, and then you go, wait, you like that song? And then I'm like, oh, maybe I do like it. Yeah. And then you get confused if you're liking it because they like it or if you like it because you like it. Yeah.
It's so interesting because it was good then, and it's I guess all art or creativity is a matter of subjectivity, and for somebody that is the best thing in the world, and for you at that point when you created it, it was the best thing you could do
on that Tuesday. Yeah. And I was like, and at the end of the day, listen to this demo, it's cool.
And it stopped in that part of its development. But now you look back on it, like I look back on maybe like hear like a lyric that I recorded or a voice that I used, and I'm like, who is that guy?
Who's that guy?
Or what does that even mean?
Yeah.
Or in 2019, that's not okay.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But then it's like,
do you reckon some rappers think that now, like the old guys, and they listen to that to early?
Definitely, but I think they're sitting on their piles of cash.
That's true.
And they're like, do you practice?
You know, I don't, and I really should. Every day I come in, I walk in, put my coat down, and before everything's powered on, and I go, I could, in theory, sit down and practice my rudiments on the drums right now.
Right.
I could practice scales on the guitar. Yeah. Do I do that? Yeah. No. And I tried. Yeah. Sometimes I sit in my living room with the guitar, maybe just not doing scales, just practicing because I'm rubbish at guitar.
Okay.
Try and get better at it, then I just get frustrated. Yeah. And then in my brain, I'm like, when I'm trying to, what happens is, let's say I do practice. The moon is full and I'm practicing. About 3 minutes in, I'll be like, that's a sick beat, I need to record that.
Right, okay.
Done them off.
Okay.
And then it's a song. Yeah. I couldn't stick to practicing for an hour because I'll hear a million songs in that rudiment.
Yeah. But in a sense, like you're
every day I try and create something which I see as kind of practice.
So it's a creative practice.
Yeah.
Because what you are, you're not just a drummer or a guitar player.
Right.
If you were, then you probably practice. But in fact, you're a songwriter.
And this is another thing I've come to terms with. Yeah, what I do and what I love doing is doing a bit of everything. So I should practice that as opposed to practicing one thing and being the best at one thing, which I think is a beautiful and wonderful thing. But maybe that's not for me. Because I just love I love like putting it all together.
Doing all the bits.
All the bits and bobs, yeah.
I've got this idea of like a time capsule and accountability. Let's not just say accountability, but taking account of things, looking back on things that we've done, milestones, good moments in life. If I've got a time capsule here and we're going to go outside now and we're going to bury it for, I don't know, maybe your great grandkids or a future fan or someone that's going to develop this land, dig it up, and they're going to find an item or an element from your life. What are you going to put in that time capsule?
Whoa. Jesus. Can it be any size?
It can be any size, yeah. But can
I put myself in it?
Put yourself in it. You'd probably be dead. You'd probably just be bones, but that'd be kind of cool,
right?
Yeah.
That's like the ultimate accountability, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know who buries it if you put yourself inside.
You. What would I put in there? I don't know.
Sad day.
I don't know.
I'll let you think. Yeah, I'll let you have a little think about that. I sent you a link to a podcast the other day. I think you listened to it. It was the author Philip Pullman.
Oh yeah.
And Adam Buxton.
Yeah.
And something amazing they talked about. They were talking about being haunted by the ghosts of the words that you didn't write.
Oh, that was a huge line. He was like, because he said he wrote on paper because you scribbled it out. Yeah. And it's still there, but on a computer you delete it and it disappears.
And it's gone forever.
Yeah.
So
for every line he writes, there's a million lines that he didn't.
I found that fascinating.
Me too.
And do you ever get that fear or like think about things that you're missing out on when pursuing other creative paths, or you just look forward and
I actually don't. I can't, because if I did, I wouldn't do anything.
yeah.
Because it's an overwhelming thought, and I think if you do get caught in that, you just get anxiety and I don't know.
It's a scary thought, isn't
It's
it?
a really scary thought. I try and just put the blinders on and go. I also don't like to think about regrets or songs that could have sounded different. I'm just like, it is that. It now exists like that.
Yeah.
Go, move on. Let's
Yeah.
go.
I ask because those are like more demons of mine that turn up at my door.
Really?
But
Okay.
I feel like actually by addressing them and calling them out in this podcast, that
Interesting.
is actually very
Yeah,
cathartic.
Well, that's
and
like the meditation
beginning to-
with the emotions. You think about them. You don't try and push them away. The more you try and push them away,
Yeah.
the more they're on your mind.
Right.
You let them in, think about them, and then go, poof,
Yeah.
and they were there. You thought about it. You were aware of it
Let the demons in.
instead of being like, don't think about it. Don't think about it. Don't think it.
Yeah.
That's going to take up your whole day.
That's true. All right, man. What's going in your time capsule?
Fuck.
I'm going to say 500 years.
500 years.
Yeah.
And they're redigging up London to like make spaceships to Mars. And they're digging.
They dig in and then
Like what?
clink.
What's this? Larry, I found something.
Dust off all the dirt.
off.
Bust open the lock.
Yeah. I mean, the first thing I saw was a skeleton of me just smiling.
I'm into it. We'll just put you in there.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put in. It's a Fostex. It's the first recorder my dad bought me.
Okay.
It's 13 and it's got 100 songs on it, presets, no external memory. I don't want to go in now and delete them to record more. So
Yes.
it is that now.
Okay.
And it has all my first creations on it.
Your first demos.
It's my first demos, and I listened to it. I nearly cried today because it sounds. Also, if you smell the faders, it smells like absolute joy, hope, excitement, mystery. I didn't know what C major was. I didn't know what beat was. I was just putting these notes together.
Yeah.
And going, I feel incredible when I do that.
Wow.
And that is like where it was born for me.
Okay. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a blue little Foster. I put some on my Instagram story the other day because I was moving house, and oh my god, the memories in that.
Which
And
in itself is a time capsule.
yes, and it was just the early stages of it all because we couldn't afford a laptop and Cubase and all that. So he was in that.
I like that, man.
One mic over my drum kit in my bedroom. When I hear the drums, when I solo the drums, it's just a shit butters mic like with an on and off switch. It's over the drum, but I'm loving it.
It's pure. It's
Yeah.
pure
I'd be
imagination.
like, Mum, when you going out? Like 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, sick. I'm back in 10 now. And I'm like, gotta get all the drums because it was in my bed. You know what I mean?
It's your studio time.
That was my studio time.
Wow.
Everything else was in headphones. Definitely that.
Excellent, man.
Yeah.
Dude,
That was fun. Can I tell you one more thing that when you told me
absolutely.
before the thing in accountability, this is like the now,
The now.
right? Which I love
Yeah.
from you. This is saying that Aaron kind of says in the studio. If I'm like, oh, I wish I'd love if that keyboard was in the other rooms. And Aaron's like, right, let's do it. Just pick it up, do it, and change it. If you live like that,
Living in the now.
game changer. So one thing I've wanted to do for years, I would say 30 now, 10 years. No. Since I was 16, 14 years, I wanted to write a classical album.
Okay.
I wrote a classical piano piece in that bedroom when I was 16. It's on the Fostex. It's still finished. I can still play it now. And I want to expand it, write it, finish it. And the only thing stopping me is a piano.
Okay.
And I bought a piano, but it was out of tune. I couldn't tune it. So I've been looking on eBay every day for this piano, but it's like a 600 good thing.
Yeah.
That is something I've been wanting to do for so long.
Okay.
A piano album piece.
So there's an idea you're going to hold yourself accountable to.
Yeah, every morning I hit. And it's Larry or Harry. Same guy that finds my box.
Yeah, I love that. He's a through line through your story.
Yeah. And he's like, "Are you written that classical piece yet?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"No, I'm still trying to find a piano.
I've got to find a piano. I've got to.
And he's like, "Oh, cool, man.
Yeah, cool. Good luck with that.
Yeah, close the door and leave."
There you go,
Yeah.
man.
Piano piece.
Sounds brilliant.
I'd be fucking proud of it.
I'm really glad you brought that up, because I feel like I also want that to be something with the people that I talk to with this podcast. I want to find maybe something that you have to say.
Right.
You have to say it out into the universe.
Yeah.
And now it's on, we've just recorded it
Yeah, that exists now.
into digibytes.
Yeah, digibytes, zeros and ones.
Yeah. We've put it into our time capsule. So
Sick.
someone's going to hopefully listen back to this in
Yeah,
500 years and be like, oh, maybe I'll check out that classical album.
That'd be great. I need
Yeah.
to do that. Yeah, wicked. Glad I said that. Right on.
There we go. That was my chat with Youngr. I was super happy with it and I left really inspired. I can't wait to get started on the next episode, but before that, let's have a listen back to some of the notable moments punctuated with the self-edit asterisk. I want the guests and you as listeners to co-produce the narrative with me, and I'm glad that in this moment, Dario's music suggestions helped to create another way to get involved in the podcast.
Plus finding my own music, because Dad was always like, James Brown and Fela Kuti, listen to this. And then I heard Simply Red. I was like, oh, it was a combination of that, for sure.
Side note,
Yeah.
there has to be a playlist with this podcast now.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Great idea.
And all of those things you just mentioned again.
At the fairground
What a
on
tune.
the way.
I've created a Spotify playlist with music and artists mentioned throughout, so if you want to add more context to the songs that have inspired us, give that a listen. The next ping, I'm sure you noticed, felt a little awkward. If I've got a time capsule here and we're going to go outside now and we're going to bury it for, I don't know, maybe your great grandkids or a future fan or someone that's going to develop this land, dig it up, and they're
Yeah.
going to find an item or an element from your life. What are you going to put in that time capsule?
Whoa. Jesus.
At this point, I think my question was too broad and open. Dario was clearly put on the spot here, and I feel as an interviewer, you have to be sensitive and aware to these sort of situations. Perhaps giving the guest this question before the recording would have helped. We came back to the question later in the chat, and I felt like we got some really fun and important answers, but just so you know, I was super conscious of potentially slowing down momentum in our chat at this particular point. This final one was a really positive ping. I prepared for this chat with about 3 to 4 baseline questions relating to the themes of accountability and creativity. And when I felt the conversation naturally coming to an end, I started to bring things to a close. I'm really, really glad that my guest jumped in with one more thing to say. Excellent, man.
That was
Dude.
fun. Can I tell you one more thing that when you told me
Absolutely.
before the thing in accountability, one thing I've wanted to do for years. I wanted to write a classical album.
Okay.
I wrote a classical piano piece in that bedroom when I was 16. It's on the Fostex. It's still finished. I can still play it now. And I want to expand it, write it, finish it. That is something I've been wanting to do for so long.
Okay.
A piano album piece.
So there's an idea you're going to hold yourself accountable to.
Yeah.
There you go,
Yeah.
man.
Piano piece. Album.
Sounds brilliant.
I'd be fucking proud of it.
I'm really glad you brought that up, because I feel like I also want that to be something with the people that I talk to with this podcast. I want to find maybe something that you have to say.
Right.
You have to say it out into the universe.
Yeah.
And now it's on, we've just recorded it. You can hear it in my voice that I was excited to hear what he says next, and that I even got a little thrown off, unexpected to find a way to conclude the podcast so naturally. But that's the way it goes. Yeah, we need to talk about when my voice went full alien. And accountability. Yeah, had to leave that in because just wow. How was that cup of tea? You feeling like you want to make something? Because I'm down to collaborate. Maybe you're feeling held back by the two demons we were introduced to today. We had the accountability demon and the ghosts of unfollowed creative paths. I think I've evaded them for one more day, but you never know when they'll knock again. And maybe next time I'll have something to say in return. Now, do me a favor. Find a pen and a piece of paper. If it feels right, write down one thing you want to achieve in the not too distant future. And that's it. Do you want to know what I wrote down? Just to get one more episode of this podcast written, recorded, and released. And I'll see you when it's done. I want to say thank you to Danny McIntyre Loveridge for his live guitar, Stoney Browder Jr. for the theme music, Dario Youngr Darnell for joining me in conversation, Chris Unwin for advice and support, Lorne Ashley for mixing support, and George the Poet for inspiration. This episode was recorded using Shure SM7B microphones through a UA Arrow interface and constructed in Ableton Live 10 intro. Check out Youngr, that's Youngr, on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Music, and all of that. If you'd like to link up on socials about the podcast and any other projects, then you can find me on Instagram at Aaron of Kong. I'd love to know your thoughts. Laters.